Just had a legendary Bongos Ikwe talking to us all the way from Abuja. Quite an exciting opportunity there. Our next guest is, I call him legendary in the movie industry as well. He's the one and the only Deyemi Okanlawon.
And he's blushing, by the way.
Legendary.
Well, I will call you that.
I just started my career, please.
In what sense? In what sense?
You know how long AY Marco has been in this industry?
Okay.
38 years. I'm just upcoming.
I mean, you're just upcoming.
We call him ancestor. Please, anybody that sees AY Marco, just make sure you call him ancestor. He has a movie coming out in December called The Waiter.
Yes, The Waiter.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing, Deyemi?
I'm considering what we're all, going through. I'm thankful to God, is what I can say. I'm thankful to God,
Okay,
Yeah.
so you had your, let's say, directorial production debut for All Is Fair in Love.
All Is Fair in Love, yes.
Yes. And I want to ask you how much you make, but let me just keep quiet on that. Because it was the rave of the 1 billion, Okay, so this film now that you're in, you're producing this, you're co-producing.
This second one?
This is the second one.
This is going to be my second film as a producer. It's called 3 Working Days.
3 Working Days, yes.
Yes.
And so it talks about the issues that happened before the elections.
Right.
The Naira issue.
Yes, about the time, yes.
Yes. Why did you decide to talk about the story? Like, I was quite interested when I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh, nice. I remember some things that happened there.
Exactly.
That time was not funny.
It wasn't funny at all.
No.
I know. Very painful.
Yeah.
And you see, the thing about how sensitive, our finances are, is that you don't want to be caught in a financial situation. There might be an emergency, and, in this case, we heard stories of people who went through a lot. Some people lost their lives because they just couldn't pay for something that they needed, And of course, I'm a very big men's mental health advocate, and I've always thought that we need to tell a bit more stories that are representative of men. You notice that in Nollywood, we seem to be telling a lot of stories about men that are not too nice.
The men beater.
I mean, you have taken up some roles of the
and I got tired of playing the villain.
But how did you shake off that I don't know, the stereotype?
I'm a prayerful person.
Okay. So just to buttress what he's talking about, we're going to play the trailer. So when we get back, we'll now talk some more about that. Of course, especially we'll touch on the issues of men's mental health, which is not really talked about anywhere. Let's play the trailer right now.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Minko.
I love you too.
It's another morning, and just like every other day, there are long queues, which has now become a reality in this cashless economy.
The card is not working.
All right, so that's Deyemi Okanlawon's new movie, of course, and talking about
3 Working Days,
talking about men's mental health, talking about the cash crunch coming all the way pre-election at the time. Many people still remember this situation at this point. But shooting that movie, and what was it like for you? Telling this particular story, I mean, having to get into that character years back.
And especially remembering that it was not long ago that situation was the reality.
Yes.
I think, as I said, you need to tell stories about men, that are different from the norm. It's very important to me because if you focus on other things and you leave some other things unsaid, you could easily be mistaken as if those other things. And I'm being very careful with the language that I use.
I understand. Totally.
Because again, as a man, you have to be careful now about the language that you use. So I'm being careful by saying that things that we don't focus on, sometimes they get misunderstood, they get misconstrued, they get villainized, right? And so sometimes, tell the stories you want to tell, but then let's also remember that to represent other people who are doing the right thing. And so this story really is a story about a desperate man, and a man who's desperate because he has an ailing child in the hospital. At the time, there's a cash crunch, and I need people to see. We've done a lot of talk about men not being responsible. We don't ever really talk about the responsible men. We never talk about those guys. And we see a man who's taking responsibility. He's trying to do the best for his family, and he now gets into this situation, and then the banks are refusing to give him the money that he worked hard for, and they push him to the wall. So this guy now, and then that's where the mental health comes in. Don't push a man too hard. The society that we live in pushes men too hard, and then now criminalizes them for the mistakes that they make, or for sometimes not even a mistake. Sometimes they form a habit, and that really should be punishable. But we should also remember that these people, there was a cause and there was an effect, right? And so we should really start to consider, especially for the younger boys now, how to safeguard their mental health and not overly pressure them into break points, because as I said, the things that I said were mistakes. They're really just breaking points that turn into something really nasty. And let's try and avoid that. Let's not only focus on castigating. Let's start raising up young boys and young men who are mentally stable, mentally balanced, and know how to handle the pressures of life. This guy, they pushed him. Unfortunately, they pushed the wrong person. They pushed the wrong person. And to be honest with you, over the last 1 or so year, like 1 year now, I've been through a lot. I've been through a whole lot. But family-wise, I have a new baby.
Yes, congratulations on that.
The baby was on the way as my film was on the way.
Yes, all is fair.
My mental health, but a lot of things like that. And even industry-wise, there were some things I had to deal with. Just as you grow in an industry, things started happen, So I also had those things going on. So I was in a very, very frustrated state. The economy, and having to take care of your family and your people, your siblings, your parents, it got to me a lot. So
the price of baby food is extremely
Oh my
expensive.
God, let's not start that. And so those are all the feelings and emotions that went into sitting down with my team. I sat down with Kenneth Bedford and Vincent of Bleeding Hearts Productions, and we talked about these things as guys, as men, and we started to formulate a story, and the story eventually ended up as 3 working days.
Well, I want to ask, how have you protected your mental health since you started your film career? I mean, you have gone from your villain phase, Blood Sisters and Co, and then now you're here, and then even at the beginning when jobs were not coming as much, how have you protected or preserved
as a man
mental
generally?
health?
Yeah, so
as a man in Nollywood,
especially in Nollywood, you see the work that we do, and there are very few of us. Let me put it this way: a lot of people are acting, but there are not a lot of actors. And so especially the actors amongst us who really take on these roles and become these characters, we have to be very, very careful about our mental health. We have to be very, very careful. So on a psychological level, it has an impact. And because of the space that we're in, we don't really pay attention to it. We just keep working. We just keep working back to back. You asked about when I got in. I was doing a lot of films with very little or no pay, just hustling, trying to make it happen, and I grew through the years, but still it was a back-to-back hustle, not taking the time to rest. A lot of us don't take that time to rest and relax, and I didn't. And so when you asked me how have I protected I didn't protect my mental health. I didn't. And I saw the results of it. And it was the results of it that made me seek therapy for the first time in 2019. I had to, because I saw the results. And even since then, it's one thing to admit to yourself that there's an issue. It's another thing to go through the healing process. And I mean, I'm happy. I'm so grateful to God that, in more recent times, I'm beginning to see, okay, I'm actually healing, and again, there's really nobody to talk to. Truly. And I don't want to burden anybody, especially my wife.
Now with the new baby.
So I'm not even now, just over time, just not burden her with too much of my problems. My job is to take care of you, provide for you, protect you. Am I now burdening you with my issues? So that was my thing we didn't protect ourselves, but now we are. And it's really about talking.
Truly.
And to the right person or right people. You know, it's important for men to have a group of men. Very important. But it's also important to seek help and seek therapy when you do need to. Sometimes it's just really to just talk and vent and let out, you know, these emotions in a very safe space with somebody who can help you redirect, not just talk for no reason. They're helping you sort out your feelings and your issues. And that's a very important thing I think people should start looking at.
All right, so when is this movie coming out in cinemas?
So our movie, we have a movie premiere on Thursday, but the movie is released on Friday, the 18th of October. We have a premiere at Film House Studios, IMAX in Lekki, Film House Cinemas. And then right the next day, we're going to start showing in all cinemas across the country. I believe we have advanced screenings as well on that 17th. So people around the country can also see the film.
Okay. So what do you think many will learn from this movie? Apart from the fact that it can be an action thriller to many, it can be a comedy to others. Yeah. What specifically will people learn?
Let me first say that, as I said, I went through a lot. So there is a message in the film. And it's really, don't push men too hard. People have real breaking points. Real breaking points. So that's one thing. Don't push men too hard. And again, please let us protect our men. Let's protect our boys. Let's make sure people are living without unnecessary gender-related pressure. Because you're a boy, this is what you should do. You know, we don't say a lot, but I found out that my mother told me when I asked her, why didn't you really, you know, focus on the boys the way you focus on the girls? She was like, we thought boys grew up by themselves. We just let them out and grow. And it's dangerous. Yes, and so for my boys, I'm like a hawk. You know, I give them space. I'm not a helicopter parent, but I'm making sure that I'm talking to them, I'm guiding them, and I'm raising them to be better men than I've been.
Yeah, it's quite good. Of course, they're going to have a boy, so I'm also raising him to be a better man. So, we hope that more movies will come that highlights the issues men face and put this issue on the spotlight everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. And of course, that's the end of our segment this morning. Coming up is sports, and we'll bring you the